Hello everyone, wanted to make a quick user guide on the two new websites that I made for map vetoing for both StarCraft 2 and for Stormgate. In order to use the website, you can just upvote or press thumbs up to indicate that you want to play a map. It'll bring the upvoted map to the top of the list in order to try and sort things. Likewise, if you click on thumbs down, then it'll bring it to the bottom of the list. This is to indicate that one of the players picked a map or they vetoed a map, and you can click on the thumbs up or the thumbs down a second time and it'll change it to indicate that the other player is picking or vetoing the map. You can also reset all the vetoes if you would like with that button. If you click on the cog in the top left corner, this displays a lot more options. You can customize the player names, which will be displayed on the backdrop. Let's say myself versus, I don't know, like Rogue for the Zerg. And then you can also see the win rates of the different races on the maps. So, for example, Terran has an 80% win rate on Last Fantasy versus Zerg players. You can also swap them around, and then it will display the other win percentage. So it should show that Last Fantasy is only a 20% win rate. If there are no picks, then it automatically sorts the maps based on the win rate of the races, or the race that you pick for player 1. So let's just swap this back. You can, once the cog is pressed, you can click on the X's on the right side of these in order to remove the map from the list. You can also add more maps by selecting a map from the dropdown and then clicking on Add Map. And you can also reset everything back to the default by pressing Reset Maps. You can export a code in order to share it with like a caster or a friend in order for them to see how the maps are going, like which maps you decided to pick on, which maps you decided to veto on, or you can just save it for later in case you ever want to go back to a series that you were playing. You can click on caster mode and it'll give it a little bit of a more cinematic look, and it'll remove a lot of the UI elements as well. And what else is there? When you hover over the maps, it will show a preview image of the map itself in the top middle. You can resort the maps in case you don't like the auto sorting by just dragging everything around. And one last thing is that you can double click on one of the map names in order to display one of the player names. You can double click it again to cycle between the player names, and this is to indicate which player won on a certain map. And that's pretty much it. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I'll see you guys later.